from the information we received in writing and from what they were told today, that we would get reimbursed for that. But we might end up having to borrow, we have matches out of both of the projects, the hiking and biking trail and the overlay on Floyd from Russell North. But we may need to borrow some additional money out of the transportation funds, or I don't know, possibly even dip into the capital improvement sales tax, borrow until that reimbursement comes in. So just wanted to let you all know. But we did sign in the agreements to do the projects that was a possibility. Mayor, did you determine anything different than that from the information?
Are we trying to build any reserve in our transportation tax?
I hope, I didn't have this bid, until tonight.
I understand,
But yes, sir, I'm hoping that we're starting with the payment we've got in July, already this month, that is our first payment going towards next year's projects. It's what I'm working for within the budget we kind of set within the street department. I mean, in the street committee.
Okay.
That we're not going to spend all the way through August or September, or October, like that, and then have a smaller amount next year to work with.
Very good.
That make that as clear as mine did, right?
I think this amendment, is it amendment number 7, the 412 amendment?
Yes.
Are you going to maybe do some educating through the social clubs or something, maybe talk to some of those groups? I think it's important that people know what that is and what's at stake.
I know MoDOT representatives were at 2 of the men's clubs in Kennett. I'm not sure about, the others, but I know they were here to do 2 of them. There was an article in the paper recently too. But the 412 project is the single largest project that is on their master list by several $1 million. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot to mention that we received a emergency management program grant this year for emergency management. It's the 50/50 grant, and it's our match. We received $9,328.62. That matches up with our budget that we made, and I just need to make sure the mayor be authorized to sign and we'll have the city receive that grant. It's an annual thing we sign on.
We have a motion to approve this.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Carter? All right. I know we didn't have opportunity. Public comments. Do we have anyone here who would speak to the council this evening? Any, well,
That's right. I'd like to speak on behalf of Virgie's Place. Many of you are probably familiar with that program. Beverly runs that. They've been running into some difficulties in the location they're at, keeping up with the rent and the expenses, and they're looking for another location that would be much more affordable. And I didn't know whether the city had properties or buildings that they have vacant that would make a great place and a great opportunity for a rental for her to put that ministry and that program back into. She contributes a lot to this community and is getting very desperate and looking for a place that's well affordable. So I thought I'd throw that out there. If you know of something, either let her know, or if people want to contact me, and I'll pass it on to her.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening. 2 things really tonight from the Chamber of Commerce standpoint. First of all, real quick, we would like to formally announce that we have hired a new director. She's in attendance tonight. Ms. Melissa Combs is with us. We'll have a press release soon, probably tomorrow or the next day in the paper, so everyone will be acquainted with her real soon, and she'll be staying at this podium from now on, so which will be fine with me. The second item we have is something that was brought up at the last meeting, I understand, and to be honest, we were kind of caught off guard a little bit from the chamber standpoint that we were receiving the tourism second portion of that fund I spoke about a month ago, I guess that quickly. We, to be honest, were not prepared at that point to take that on. We were fine with taking that on, we just did not have the protocols in place and wanted to kind of speak more to it. But our understanding is there was a presentation for the Kennett Air Show that will coincide with the Delta Fair. I think it was presented by Mr. Gary Figgins, possibly, and Don Collins at that time. And they were actually deferred to us to make that recommendation. And like I said, we are going to work on getting those protocols in place. Our plan is to have a committee that will oversee this. We didn't feel it was something that you want a 15-member board necessarily making a decision on. So just to kind of give a backdrop, we're looking at a small committee made up of not necessarily just chamber members, but members from other areas in the community and also possibly a member from the council. We are looking at that as well. So, but with that, we were also put, in the place that this was on the floor. So we did bring that to our last meeting on this request. My understanding, and like I said, we did get this information one day before we had our meeting, so we were a little limited on what we had, but my understanding was that it was for a request for $8,000 from the tourism tax fund for the air show. And that was put to a vote for before the chamber, and it was approved by the chamber as a recommendation to the council to approve that $8,000. A little backstory, and you can, I don't know if this presentation was made in full to you all last time, but the understanding we have is that is not a $8,000 check written right off the bat from that fund. It is basically as invoices come due up to $8,000 for that, then that is how they're going to proceed. They do have a budget per se put together of what they feel. I mean, it's a new thing for Kennett, which is, to speak for the chamber, it's one of the things that most of the chamber felt it would be a good thing. If something new, we need something kind of new introduced, and it may be something great for the future. Also in reference, they, talked about if this was something that for whatever reason made a profit, they don't foresee a profit, but if it did, next year, of course, the funding request would not be for the $8,000. It would be less what the profits were. So, with what little bit of knowledge we have on the situation, as the chamber, we did, like I say, it was a vote, and it was a vote to recommend to the council that we accept this for the tourism tax.
All right.
Will we
let's get-
approve?
This got by previous meeting,
Yes, sir. Hasn't been discussed.
so it's be voted on this evening. Okay.
So moved.
We have a motion,
Second.
we have a second, we have discussion. All in favor of approving the $8,000 expenditure for the airport board?
So.
Yes.
Air show?
Air show.
Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, I apologize, I wasn't here yet, so.
That's,
That's why I'm kind of,
and that's all we have.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak to the council? Since not any, we will adjourn.